Good evening and welcome to another Mothman podcast. We are your number one source for sci-fi paranormal podcasts. Also be listening for podcasts from Moth and Flame. You'll be hearing about hypnotherapy and mediumship.
And also, please like and subscribe and comment on YouTube. Follow us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Instagram, Twitter, and more. And you can find out a lot more about our services on mothmanpodcast.com.
Good evening, everyone. Hi, I'm Darrell Rourke, and I have here with me Amanda. You want to say hello?
Hi.
And also here with me is Bruce.
Hey, I'm here.
Tonight we're going to be talking about the episode that you've probably already, we hope that you've already seen. It's called The Ghost Girl Selfie. And this is about a house in Greensboro, North Carolina, in the Battleground area. And it's a house belongs to Donna and Greg Wagner. And she'd been hearing noises and snapped a selfie of an entity standing on the steps. And so we went in to investigate. We drove over there and got there around 8 o'clock, started our investigation around 9 o'clock on September the 21st, which was last Saturday night. And hopefully this is going to air with Bruce's help. This is going to air.
I'm working on it
sometime tomorrow night because it's a long investigation and there's a lot of data that we've found. So
Bruce always gets the biggest job.
There's so many timestamps. Many timestamps.
Yeah, Greg is the one of the owners there at the house. The husband, Donna's husband, was a non-believer, and he happened to look upstairs one time and saw the entity looking over the steps at him, and ever since then he's been a believer. So we went in, and I guess when we pulled up, Bruce, you started off by seeing entities right outside, right?
Well, what had happened is I always take a picture of the house for the video right before the investigation, and we had literally just pulled up. I had been out of my car less than 5 minutes. I pull out my cell phone and I go to snap a couple quick pictures of the house, and lo and behold, as I'm looking through my camera, I see an orb float out of the second floor bedroom window and like outside and hover down and then go into the living room window on the first floor. And I captured it like as it was kind of like moving in a zigzag motion. I
had an individual ask me last week, would you explain what an orb is? Because they wanted to, they didn't really understand what we were talking about when we talk about orbs.
Orbs are they're a form that a spirit takes, usually when they're trying to travel, but when they can't fully manifest, they'll take like an orb form and then they'll pass through walls, go down hallways.
And that's a ball of energy.
Yeah, and it's just their spirit energy is being compressed. That's what it is. And
right. Thank you for explaining that. And then when we get there, we usually send Amanda in so that she can get a feeling of the property and what's going on there. So, Amanda, what happened when you went in and started looking around?
I felt when we first pulled up, I felt kind of like a blast of warm air, like while we were sitting in the car with the air conditioner on, coming from the backyard. And I was like, whoa, what was that? So I went in the front door and just kind of went room to room, and I didn't really feel a lot in the living room or the kitchen. The little dining room area, I could feel her grandmother, who I had channeled before, and I felt that she was sitting on the couch just kind of like, hey, I'm here, and Donna's my kid and whatever. They were really close. And so Donna had told me, tell my grandma to wait for me to get back. I'll talk to her when I get back. So then we went upstairs, and I kept telling Darrell, I'm not feeling a lot. I don't know what it is. It feels kind of empty. And it was just kind of odd. Like it felt like a friendly home. And so I said, I feel like we need to go outside. And we went outside, and that's where I saw a lot. I stepped onto the back porch, and I kind of looked over my shoulder into the yard, and there were like 20 to 30 dead people there, and they weren't menacing. They were just kind of like standing around, like looking at us like, oh, you guys are here. We're here to kind of see what's going on and for the party. And so that was really odd. I've never, ever seen that many people. That was strange.
Well, other than like at Bruce's house, where there's a backyard, it goes right to the graveyard.
Yeah.
This house is right down the street from a large cemetery.
Yeah.
Westminster Gardens. Yeah, it's a massive one.
Yeah, for a minute I didn't remember. And then I was like, Darrell, this is near a cemetery, right? He was like, yeah, it is. And then over kind of behind the sunroom, I felt like this really gentle presence of this little girl. And I spent a little time talking with her and trying to coax her to come inside while they set up. And eventually they came out with some equipment to look for her. But by then, I'm pretty sure she was inside, because we all three went inside, and then the activity really started, and we started picking things up on camera.
Well, I went out there with the millimeter, remember? Like,
Yeah.
and my cell phone, and I walked out into the darkness out toward that shed.
Yeah.
And sure enough, like in between the back porch and the shed in the backyard,
Uh-huh.
I had like a 4.3 spike. It went up to like a 10.9 at one point.
Oh my God. That's
And
where I
then-
saw a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, I got a 1.4, and then, I mean, it would just go in and out, but I was constantly getting numbers.
Yeah.
And Bruce, explain a little bit about the millimeter. It picks up on energy. Is that correct?
The millimeter, it detects fluctuations in temperature and in electromagnetic, in the electromagnetic field. It measures it in a unit called milligauss, and anything above like 0.2 is significant.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because when I talk about like getting a 10.2 spike,
That's
would be
huge.
that's the equivalent of actually taking the millimeter and putting it next to the fuse box.
Yeah.
In your
it's,
house.
It's significant.
Or standing under a high power
I think-
line.
Yeah.
yeah. That's a lot of electrical energy.
And what was odd about that crowd of people, like the girl, I felt her, but the crowd of people, I saw them, and that was probably one of the most vivid visuals. Like, I saw a ton of people. I saw their clothes. I saw how they were looking at us, and I mean, none of it was menacing. I wasn't afraid, but it was just like I've never experienced that before. So in a way, it was really cool.
And from there, we went inside, and we started getting out of all of our equipment. And I think, Bruce, you had some we found that the bulk of the activity was upstairs, and Bruce spent a lot of time upstairs in that area, because that's where she seemed to have, the little girls reported to have been hanging out, was upstairs. I think you want to go ahead and expand on.
Can I mention one thing I forgot to mention that's going to factor into this next part? When all day long before we got there, I kept hearing in my head the name Anna. And when we got to the house, I asked Donna, the homeowner, I said, do you know anyone named Anna or have a relative named Anna? And she's like, I have an Aunt Annie, but she's alive. And we were like, okay. And I said, well, just kind of, put it in the back of your mind. And if you think of anything, let us know. So we kind of had that thought going on, but that was all we had.
Yeah, and when we were upstairs, I did a couple different things. First, what I did is I set up a night vision camera shooting straight down the hallway from the master bedroom toward the bathroom and the banister of the stairs, so I could capture anything that might, basically try to recreate the photo, try to catch something at the top of the stairs. That was my objective. And then while I was investigating that, we had a lot of activity in Donna's master bedroom. Because, didn't she say it had moved her bed or something like that at one point?
Yeah, the bed was.
She
what
was.
Or she heard it move.
She heard it.
She wasn't in
right.
there.
And she also stated that they had one of those hot and cold mattresses, and she went up there one time, and the mattress was so cold in a couple of places, or in one or two places, that it felt like it was almost wet, that it was so cold.
Yeah.
And so that's just not normal for that mattress, and it's
Right.
not a normal everyday thing. So
that's a cold spot, because we felt a bunch of them there in the house, like especially when we were doing like the spirit box sessions and stuff. But I mean, it seemed like the little girl spirit mostly hung out around the master bathroom. Like she would hide out there, or she would hide on, like, I caught her on the right side of the bed, between the bed and the wall, like, you know, going out toward the front of the house. Like, I caught her over there.
Which is interesting, because that orb had come from that area.
Yeah. And that night vision camera shooting straight down the hallway. I mean, that thing, we got some amazing shots of orbs coming up the stairs into the bedroom. At one point, there, like, in one of the clips, you see one of the orbs move from that middle bedroom and kind of turn, and like it's heading toward the other bedroom at the end of the hall.
Oh, wow.
And then, but it's like for a brief second, you blink and you'll miss it. You just see it kind of do this, you know, just make a quick little L turn. And I mean, plus that same camera got some good EVPs. Not all the cameras, when we had them running in the bedroom, caught the same thing. Some of them, like when we were doing the spirit box sessions or asking questions, like one camera would catch the answer to it, but you know, this one over here might not. And we had Darrell actually left audio running up there for four straight hours. And what was crazy is this is a highly sensitive microphone, and I mean, this thing could hear us talking in the kitchen and, you know, downstairs clear as day, and it didn't catch a single EVP, but it did catch like the scuffling in the bathroom, or it caught footsteps going around the bed when no one was up there. And then at one point you could hear what sounded like someone sitting down on the bed, like, you know, the mattress creak.
Like a creaking.
Yeah, it sounded like something sat down, which actually kind of, you know, concludes what she thought was the cold spot on the bed.
It stays there around the bed.
I mean, between that and the SLS footage, where it's always hanging out right there by the bed,
that
would make sense.
Bruce was down in the floor trying to talk to the entity at one point, and I was running an SLS camera, and apparently it's like my son-in-law says, it always happens off camera. We had some technical problems with the camera, but we could see it, but it didn't film it. That the entity looks like it was standing in the bathroom door, and it would act like it wanted to step out, and then it got scared and would go back into the bathroom door. So we're thinking that maybe that entity, we might have frightened the little girl.
Yeah.
And it was trying to stay away from us because it wasn't sure about us.
Yeah.
She's not sure about people that come and talking to her. You know?
Right. She's like, what do you guys want?
And, well, she wasn't the only one in the house, like, spirit-wise either.
Yeah.
No.
Because, like, the camera shooting down the hallway at one point caught, like, 2 orbs at once. And then, like, before that, like, a third one had come up. Mm-hmm. So, it you know... And during the spirit box session at one point, we actually asked, how many of there are you? And actually, you can hear on the camera the clear response. The answer says 6.
Oh, wow.
And also the SLS camera caught an entity at the bottom of the steps that was much taller than a young girl would have been.
Size.
Standing there.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it captured it or not, but when I was standing there, Donna come home later that night around midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was standing there talking to her, and I had the camera on, and Amanda was standing there in the doorway.
Oh, I remember.
And one form behind Amanda looking over her shoulder at all of us.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the camera caught that or not, because
that was crazy.
that would have been right at the end of the video.
That might have been the video file that got corrupted. Yeah, for those of you listening, what had happened was every time like the spirits would like manifest for an extended period of time, like our equipment would glitch. Like
it would mess with our batteries. It would run our batteries.
And when that
down.
happened, like whatever video file it was recording would be like corrupted. We had like 4 corrupted files on the SLS camera, and then on the full spectrum, I had 2.
Right.
So I mean, it happened to a couple of our a couple of our cameras.
It's very interesting because I never have ever seen anything like this before. Bruce and I were sitting there at the table, kind of taking a break, and I was playing with the SLS camera, trying to get it back on and get it back up working. and I was watching the SLS screen, and the little girl ran from one door across the kitchen and out the other door. And I'm sitting there. I said, I've never, ever, most of they appear and kind of stay right in front of you or try to look at you. But this one just kind of like a kid running right through the kitchen. And I'm going, I can't believe this. Here we go again. Yeah, it's off camera. And I've never seen anything like this before.
He was trying to get his up. And what made it even worse is I was changing the battery in my camera as it was happening. And then like later on, like he goes to, catches a spirit.
Darrell.
Darrell catches a spirit on the kitchen sink,
right?
Like, and he catches it for a brief second, and I'm sitting there trying to get my SLS camera back up, and then like as soon as mine comes up, he goes, "It's gone," and then
and Darrell's in there going, "Dang it!"
And I kept recording for like 5 more minutes to see if I could get the show up, and it didn't come up.
I think I had to say some things that I had to bleep out on that.
Yeah. Did you guys hear what I yelled from the living room? I was like, "Get it together, guys!"
Yeah, I remember that.
I was like, "Oh man."
We were making more noise than anything you've ever seen. But it's exciting work at some point.
Yeah.
So, especially when you see all this stuff and you're so aggravated because this is what you really want to show to the public. And I'm looking at it and I can't get it on camera.
But I mean, what kills me is like some of the best stuff happened when we weren't even on the camera.
Right.
We just let the camera roll.
Yeah.
And then, but we did get some good footage at one point. Like I know when I went in there solo and when I was just doing the mail meter sweep before I had even like gone in there to do like a spirit box or anything like that, I was doing an initial sweep, and as I was walking out of the room, I got a clear male voice on the camera saying, "Leave me alone." Like, just like that, "Leave me alone." Just mad.
And it's clear as day. It's Class A EVP.
And I want to shout out to my daughter, Suzanne, if she's listening to this podcast later on down the road. Just look over at Donnie and say, "Yes, Donnie, it does happen off camera." Because my son-in-law keeps saying it always happens off camera.
Well, that happened to us at Sherry's house too.
It happens everywhere, it happens to all the people you see on TV. It happens to everybody.
It does. The best footage does not get captured. The ghosts know what they're doing.
Yeah,
they
mess with us.
That's why they purposely drain the battery. Like, you're not getting this. You're not. It's not going to happen. And
tell them the other EVP we got.
When we were during the spirit box session, we asked the little girl what her name was, and like Amanda mentioned previously, she had meditated and asked about the name Anna. Clear as day, I got an EVP saying Anna. So she answered.
And we didn't know this until you listened to the playback.
Right. You can't hear that well when it's actually happening. You've got to play it back. Yeah,
because none of us acknowledged it in real time. Because we didn't hear it. And then clear as day, though, on the camera, you're Anna.
And I get a text from Bruce 2 nights ago, and it's like, "Amanda, you're not going to believe this."
Oh, yeah. I sent her like little video clips of like the best EVPs that I got.
And it's just that the spirit sometimes takes so much energy to produce these sounds that they come across real low, and you have to magnify it a little bit to see what they're actually saying. So
exactly.
They really try to communicate with us a lot of times.
And and when we say Class A EVP, like intelligent responses, like literally, we asked how many there were. We got an answer that said 6. Mm-hmm. We asked the little girl how old she was. We got the answer of 10. So it was, obviously it wasn't a repeat of the same thing.
Didn't you ask her how she died?
We asked how did you die? And a voice came through and said sick.
Yeah.
So that was pretty awesome.
Yeah. We don't know what time period she's from. We could not get a real handle on that.
I'm guessing late 70s, early 80s.
Quite possibly.
What it looks like that she's wearing in the photo. Because it looks like she's got a hooded jacket, like a little mini skirt, leggings, and tennis shoes.
Yeah, and long hair.
Like 80s style. Yeah, and like.
Well, we really do not believe that this entity is taken up at this house. I think it's taken up with Donna.
I think so too. And
Donna's name came through on the spirit box. Remember,
no
we actually heard that. because you even said, did that say Donna?
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, I caught that on the camera.
I don't believe this entity passed away in this house. I believe it's just taken up with Donna, and it really feels comfortable with Donna,
right,
and the family there, because
well, Donna mentioned
it was afraid of us.
Yeah.
I think I think we were causing it some anguish there, but
I think so too.
Well, it did tell me to leave it alone. So
I don't think that was a little girl. I think that was somebody else in there. Just get out of here, man. You're bothering me.
Right before we left, I was, telling Donna about the little girl, and she said, "Oh, well, that's interesting." And she said, "I'll have to tell the neighbors because she seems to go from house to house right on this side of the street."
Oh, yeah, she did say that.
Yeah.
She said that other people have seen her in different houses.
Which is so interesting to me. Like, she's really playful.
Yeah.
And well, to prove the playfulness, on almost every camera at some point, I caught her voice going, "Hi," or "Hey," like at least once.
That's cute.
Everybody
really
at some
cute.
point actually, you hear the little girl going, "Hey," or like we asked if she could move something. At first she goes no, and then later on she goes, "Well, all right." Like I caught that clear as day
That's
too.
cute.
Well, all right.
Well, this is that was a very interesting investigation. We got a lot. Even though we had some equipment malfunctions, we did still get a lot of stuff. There's something
orbs were
going
awesome.
on there. Yeah.
And it was a really friendly investigation and really positive.
Not like our last
Not
one.
like the one
Right.
before that. Yeah.
And I believe the last one that we did back on a few weeks ago, didn't it tell you to get out too?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It told me to quit. Yeah.
Quit, and we quit right after that.
Oh, well, in Sherry's house, it told me to shut the F up. Remember that? Like, yeah.
No way.
Yeah. It was Jimmy's voice that did that. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
And for those of you
Jimmy
that are
is the
listening, we have some exciting news coming from our 2-year ago investigation at Sherry's house. Just keep listening because you're going to find some exciting news coming from that investigation too.
There have been some new developments.
New developments. That's right.
That's
That's 2 years.
for the
2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years from this from October.
Yeah.
She was
2 years,
she was
October
the
8th.
Mothman podcast inaugural investigation.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then we took a little
We got some
absence,
went back to-
and we're back bigger and better than ever. So.
That's right. We're hitting it hard.
So Sherry's house so active, we had to go twice. So
Well, it's going to be,
you know what I mean?
I'm not going to say.
And it might be 3 times now. So it's but it's a very that was that phone call I got was exciting.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
it'll be in a few weeks. You got anything else, Bruce, that you want to add? We're just really excited about putting this YouTube video out there. You guys have got to watch the video. It's this is kind of an introduction, trying to pull you into our YouTube channel to see what we were talking about. So
Yeah.
you better watch it and reward my hard work. I'm gonna be up to like 4
Bruce
a.m.
works
Reward
hard
my
on
hard work.
these.
Do it.
you got to realize we all work other jobs. So
Well,
this
some of
is
us.
yeah. Well, I don't know. You've been pretty busy on this podcast for the
I
last
have.
few weeks.
Hey,
I've been an
actually, we have more.
investigator.
Another bit of exciting news. I may be creating an app for us.
Oh, God. I thought you was going to tell me you was pregnant.
I wish that was my excuse for being this fat. I really do.
Oh, my God.
At least then I would know in 9 months it would be over.
Oh, my God. You guys are hilarious.
Okay, guys, we're going to wrap this thing up. And like I said, be sure to this podcast is going to come out on the same day as the video. So after you listen to this, run to your computer and fire it up, or your phone, or whatever you're near, and look at the podcast, because we're excited to show it to you.
Yeah. And
That's right.
I
Do it
just
in reverse order. Hear all the evidence before you actually watch the video.
I just want to shout out to Donna and her family for letting us come in their home and take over for a few hours and being very hospitable. And if you guys have an investigation that you would like us to look into, please email us, because we love doing this. And you've got a team of investigators with a long background in paranormal investigation, and you get your own medium for a few days, and we'll do our best to help you uncover what's going on at your home.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Oh, and that's mothmanpodcast@gmail.com.
That's right.
Please send us some emails.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to hearing from you.
Love you guys.
Good
Thanks.
night.
Good night now.
That was a good one.
And good night from Mothman Podcast. We hope you enjoyed tonight's episode.
And don't forget, like, subscribe, and comment on YouTube. Follow us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Instagram, Twitter, and more. And take a look at our website, mothmanpodcast.com, to find out more about our services.